What if the one thing holding you back from your best life, your best work, your real personality, your actual potential, is not your circumstances, not your resources, not your past? What if it is 11 words? What will people think of me? 11 words that have quietly stolen more dreams than failure ever could. Most people are living a life designed by other people's opinions. They pick careers to impress. They stay silent to avoid judgment. They shrink themselves in rooms full of people who are doing the exact same thing, shrinking themselves. And the worst part? Nobody is even watching that closely. You are performing for an audience that is too busy performing for their own audience to notice you. And that performance is costing you everything. There was a painter in the early 1900s named Georgia O'Keeffe. She grew up in a world where women were not supposed to be bold, not supposed to be loud with their art, not supposed to paint large, abstract, powerful pieces that made people uncomfortable. Every critic had an opinion, every gallery had a standard, and every standard was telling her to be smaller, more acceptable, more digestible. She ignored all of it. She moved to the New Mexico desert alone and painted exactly what she saw, what she felt, what she wanted to create. No audience, no approval, no performance. Just her vision and her canvas. And those paintings she made in silence, away from judgment, they became some of the most celebrated works in American art history. Here's what her story teaches us. The moment she stopped painting for approval and started painting for truth, she created her best work. Because approval-seeking shrinks you, and freedom expands you. The Stoics understood this deeply. Epictetus, a former slave who became one of the greatest philosophers in history, taught one foundational idea. Divide your life into two categories: things inside your control and things outside your control. What people think of you falls completely outside your control, and spending your energy on things outside your control is the fastest way to lose yourself. Now here is what actually happens inside your brain when you are constantly worried about what people think. And this is where it gets fascinating. Your brain has a network called the default mode network. It is the part of your brain that activates when you are not focused on a task, when you are daydreaming, reflecting, or thinking about yourself and others. And research shows that people who are highly concerned with social approval have an overactive default mode network. Their brain is constantly running social simulations. What did they think when I said that? Did I come across wrong? Are they judging me right now? This constant mental simulation consumes enormous amounts of cognitive energy, energy that could be going toward creativity, focus, problem solving, and actual living. Studies in social neuroscience show that chronic approval seeking activates the same stress pathways as physical danger. Your brain literally treats social rejection as a threat to survival. But here's what happens when you start releasing that need for approval. The prefrontal cortex, your rational, goal-oriented brain, gets stronger. Your default mode network quiets down, and your brain shifts from self-monitoring mode into creation mode. Psychologists call this psychological safety. And in that state, your thinking becomes clearer, your decisions become braver, and your output becomes authentically yours for the first time. So what does this actually look like when it shows up in your day-to-day life? You have an idea in a meeting, a genuinely good idea, and you say nothing. Because what if people think it's stupid? You want to start a business, a channel, a creative project, and you stall for months because what if people laugh? You want to dress differently, speak more honestly, set boundaries with people who drain you, and you do not. Because what will they say? This is not a small problem. This is your entire life being quietly edited by imaginary critics. And here's the brutal truth. The people whose opinions you're afraid of, they are not thinking about you. Research on what psychologists call the spotlight effect proves that people dramatically overestimate how much others notice and remember their actions. You think everyone saw you stumble, everyone remembers what you said, everyone is watching. They're not. They're too busy worrying about what you think of them. The people who have broken free from this, the ones who built real things, said real things, became real versions of themselves, they didn't stop caring overnight. They just started asking a different question. Instead of what will people think, they started asking, what do I actually want? And that one shift changes the entire direction of a life. Here are 4 steps to actually start rewiring this pattern in your brain, starting today. Step 1. Name the fear specifically. Don't just say, I care too much about opinions. Get specific. I'm afraid my friend will think I'm arrogant if I share my success. I'm afraid strangers will judge my appearance. When you name the fear precisely, it loses power. Vague fears are overwhelming. Specific fears are manageable. Step 2. Do one uncomfortable thing daily. Post the video, share the opinion, wear the outfit. Start small, but do one thing every day that your approval-seeking brain would normally veto. Every time you do it and survive, and you will always survive, your brain updates its threat assessment. The fear shrinks. Your confidence grows. Step 3. Audit your inner circle. The people around you are either expanding your self-belief or shrinking it. If the people closest to you consistently make you feel judged, small, or watched, that environment is feeding your approval addiction. Spend more time with people who are genuinely focused on building themselves. Their energy is contagious. Step 4. Return to your own opinion of yourself. Every night, just one question. Did I act in alignment with who I want to be today? Not did people approve, not did I impress anyone, just was I honest with myself today? That single daily question slowly and permanently shifts your internal compass from external validation to internal truth. Here is what I want you to walk away knowing. The version of you that stops caring what people think, that version does not become reckless, does not become arrogant, does not stop being kind. That version becomes free. Free to create what they actually want to create. Free to say what they actually mean. Free to build a life that is genuinely theirs, not a performance for an audience that was never really watching. Georgia O'Keeffe painted her greatest work alone in the desert. Epictetus built his greatest philosophy in chains. Both of them understood the same thing, that the only opinion that shapes your destiny is the one you hold about yourself. You've been editing yourself for long enough. It's time to write your own version. Subscribe to Brainora, because every week we go deeper into the psychology of how your mind works, why you do what you do, and how to take back control of the one life you actually have. This is not motivation. This is a manual. Stop performing. Start living.